that say, for example, a guy who he has a high body count, he would prefer a woman with a low body count. You think it's hypocritical?
I do think that it's hypocritical, and I think it's a little weird.
Okay. What about you? What do you think?
About what? Sorry.
Do you think it's hypocritical if a man has a high body count and wants a woman with a low body count?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Sydney, Kazumi?
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone is entitled to their own dating preferences, right? I think it's silly to care about that stuff, but it's also like we just wouldn't date. You know, it's as simple as that.
Okay, so you believe that there's the double standard, though?
I just think it's a little weird. That's it. Because I feel like it's something that a lot of men focus so highly on, and I'm just kind of like, well, you're doing the same thing, so what gives?
So, okay, but I guess my rebuttal to the whole thing, like, oh, it's hypocritical if a guy getting tongue-tied here. You think it's hypocritical if a guy who has a high body count prefers a woman with a low body count?
I just think it's, okay, everyone is entitled to their own preferences, like Kazumi said, but I just think that's a little weird.
To want a low body count, or for a guy with a high body count to want a low body count?
For a guy with a high body count to want someone with a low body count. Hey, if you want somebody with a low body count, then whatever, that's your preference. But if you have like a super high one and you're like, oh, I will only date a person with X amount. First of all, body count doesn't even really matter that much. But for the people
we'll talk about that later.
But for the people that it does people that it does like matter to, if you want someone with a low body count, then why aren't you practicing what you preach?
Can I say something on that? I think, oh, no.
Well, I'll respond, but make it quick.
Okay. I was just going to say, I think, and I'm not like for either side, but I kind of saw something that I think men have sex for a different reason than women. I think women go for more of a connection, not all. I think women go for more of a connection base versus whereas men go more for just like a pleasure base. Some of the time, again, not all of the time, but like I know that women are more of like emotional and like connection based. And so I think that's but that's just something I thought.
So, okay. Do you think that you shouldn't desire something in someone that you yourself do not possess?
Elaborate.
No.
So a guy who has a high body count, he should not desire something in someone else that he himself does not possess, and that being a low body count.
I think you can desire an opposite effect in your partner.
Well, that's what I'm kind of about I'm about to arrive at my point, but I might have stumped you there.
I think you did. Honestly, you did. Because personally, I don't really care too much about body count, so I don't really think about these conversations a lot. But I think it's okay. Okay.
I gotcha.
You did get me.
I gotcha.
You did get me. I will rephrase my statement. A lot of the time when a man is focusing on body count and a high one or a low one, right? They're like, for instance, that lock example. Oh, you're used, like no one's going to want you, blah, blah, blah. And it comes from a place of shaming. It comes from a place of shaming because there's a difference between a guy saying, oh, I don't want a girl with a low body count, and a difference between saying, oh, I don't want a girl with a low...
Why are you on me, Eric?
And him saying like, oh, I want a girl with a low body count because girls with high body counts are sluts and whores and blah, 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 right? So if he is coming at it from a respectful point of view, then like power to you, bro. But the fact of the matter is that most of these guys are not coming from a healthy point of view. And that's where the issue lies.
Okay.
Because first of all, I'm a person, right? I'm not a lock. I'm not a cookie. I'm not whatever freaking analogy you want to use me as. I'm a person, and I am allowed to have my own experiences in life. And a lot of those, for me, have been sexual, and they've been so much fun. And you, as a man, are allowed to do the exact same thing. But where the issue comes from is like, you as a man, most men are like, oh, you're not allowed to have that because you're used or damaged goods. So it's really the mentality behind it and not the actual sentiment.
Well, I mean, there's a variety of reasons why men think body count matters, but just to address the double standard or the hypocrisy thing, there are things that people desire in a partner that they themselves do not possess. For example, I would say 99% of women, if you asked a girl, do you want a guy who's funny? I would say 99% of women would say, yeah, I like funny guys. Are they funny themselves? Maybe,
knows?
maybe not. So there are a variety of things, men and women, what we find attractive in the partner, there's not a symmetry. There's not always symmetry in what we find attractive. For example, if a woman wants a man who's 6 feet tall, ought she be 6 feet tall too? Right? I've got some more. Many women want a charismatic man, yet they may not necessarily be charismatic themselves.
I get what you're saying.
Many women want a guy who's chivalrous, but they are not chivalrous themselves. Many women want a physically strong man, yet they are not physically strong themselves. So there's an asymmetry in what we want. So I don't necessarily think that it's actually wrong for even a guy who has a high body count to say, I prefer women with a low body count.
Okay, but
Because
then,
there's asymmetries in what we find
okay,
attractive.
but then the opposite can be true. Like, let's say a woman has a high body count and she prefers a man with a low body count. Like,
That's totally fine.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Totally
I'm not
fine.
saying that he can't do that. I'm just saying I think it's a little weird given the context of which body counts are usually talked about. Personally, I don't care about body count. I think it's dumb to think about it. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't really keep track of, the people that I have connections with like that. But I guess I'm talking to the people who do care about it. Right. And again, most of the time, the people who do care about it, it doesn't come from like a healthy place.
Okay.
That's really all I'm saying.
Let's get through these super chats here. We'll come back to body count in just
This
a
is
sec.
like my participation part. This is I'm like the reader. No, this is
Did we do this one?
yeah.
This one?
This
Oh,
ho
do this one and then
This-
we'll pull up Alvin's.
ho calling men insecure is in for a reality check when she realizes they only want her recreation purposes. Brace yourself for a cat lady existence ending up all alone. The funniest thing is when this just doesn't happen. The funniest thing is when life just turns out to be fine for all of us.
Go ahead. You can pull it up, Eric. Oh, wait.
You
Go-
don't want to be treated like an object, but you objectified yourself by going on OnlyFans. Can't make this up. Alvin, just go touch some grass, bro. Dude, we're all here in the game of social media entertainment.
Yo, Alvin, thank you for the $50 super chat, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Let me get the rest. Okay, we have, we did that one. We did this one. This one came through. This one came through. Thank you guys for all the, go for it.
The roasters are never hot.
Damn.
I'm
Brutal.
just sorry. That was just such a rude thing to say. I'm so sorry.
Go for
It
it.
doesn't matter if you're not hot or not. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
we did? Okay. We got this one. Go ahead.
I think it's the parents' faults for men/women having a having a high body count. I get younger people want to have fun, but any girl says that she wishes she had a lower body count when she finds the one. Thoughts? No, I don't. When I found the one, I did not wish for a smaller body count. I was glad I had the experiences I had to give me an educated decision on if this was fun or not.
Can I ask you, I don't know if this is like too prodding, but has anyone here ever got an STD?
I think STDs are a thing that happens when you have a lot of sexual partners. Well, actually, no,
Oh.
you don't even have to have a lot of sexual partners.
Freudian slip.
You don't need to have sexual partners. You
You can get that shit from a toilet seat?
You get that shit. You could get that shit on the first time having sex.
Yeah, I have a friend.
You
and
can, but
I know,
But
yeah. I have a
it's
friend
exactly
who
the thing.
pull the microphone closer to
That's
you.
exactly the thing. You could have.
Yeah.
You can get an STD the very first time you have sex. It doesn't matter how many times you have sex, how many body counts you have.
It's statistically proven.
It
The
doesn't
more,
matter. But I'm saying like.
oh my!
I just
want
want
to
to
chime in.
probability.
Side.
It's probability.
I'm just
Sydney.
saying like.
Wait,
put
let me
statistics
finish
aside,
my
but that's also
sentence.
the truth.
Hold on. Let me just address that really quick, and then I'll have you go on. Sydney, can you technically the first time ever
Yes.
you have sex get an STD?
Yes.
Yes.
Just like the first time you have sex, you can also get pregnant. It's a matter of like safety wise.
Yes, but we're talking about probability, not possibility.
But I'm okay.
So you could, but if you, who's more likely to get an STD? Someone who sleeps with someone one time or someone who's had sex 10,000 different times?
Obviously depends on safety wise, but yeah, 10,000 times. Yes.
Come on, Sydney.
Yes.
Come on. All right.
Yes.
Go ahead, Kazina.
I mean, obviously, it's going to depend on safety. If I had raw
Yes.
sex with you, I am way more likely to get an STD with you, who probably doesn't get tested all the time, versus me, who gets tested every 7 to 10 days, right? Because that's my profession. So I have to
Honestly,
get tested frequently.
Even statistically, if you have raw sex with someone one time, you're less likely to get an STD than if you have sex 10,000 times with a condom.